please don't quit. We can get past this.
You want to get past this?
Yeah.
I just tried to fuck you, sue you, and extort you. I'm fucking nuts. Why would you want me in your office?
Because you're great. I mean, you don't know how to do anything, but you have so much potential.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Boys Watching Girls. We're your hosts. I'm Joe Welke.
I'm Vance.
And today we watched episode 5 of Girls. Episode 5 is titled Hard Being Easy. It is directed by Jesse Peretz and written by Lena Dunham. Originally aired May 13th, 2012. And whoa, there was a big spike in viewers this time. It's been going down.
Yeah.
Last episode was 0.743 million viewers. This episode, 0.830. So almost 100,000 more watching this episode. There must have been an article written about the show.
Yeah, I guess the little cliffhanger at the end of the last episode must have got people talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty big cliffhanger on this episode. They read Hannah's diary on stage, and Charlie walks off, and there's a drink thrown in Marnie's face. It was Hannah's face. Marnie throws the drink.
This is an episode, man.
This is a big episode, dude.
It's a big episode. Missing one of our favorite characters for most of it.
Oh, yeah. She has a very small part, but What are your overall thoughts on this episode going into it?
It's a good episode. It's got a lot to unpack.
Oh, there's a lot going on in this episode. I feel like every character except, well, spoiler alert here. Shoshana is barely in it.
Yeah.
Except for like one scene. But everybody goes through this insane, emotional, weird roller coaster on this episode.
Yeah. Let's just dive in, man.
Who do you want to start with first? Which character? We're going to go through each character's arc.
Let's just go into...
Let's go with Jessa first.
No, let's go bigger.
No, I feel like
you want to go Jessa? All right, let's go Jessa.
We gotta go with Jessa first because it's the only other story that's happening in this episode, and Hannah and Marnie's shit is just whack as fuck.
Okay, all right. We can go through Jessa.
Let's go through Jessa, and I think I can make it through this Jessa.
You can make it through Jessa
without screaming.
All right.
I think that's the key. We need to start with Jessa, so I'm like,
so the rage-a-hole isn't at max level.
Yeah. Right. So Jessa, first thing we see her is she's talking with Hannah about the sexual harassment in Hannah's office.
No. First thing we see is her with the
family.
Don't we see her with the family first, or no? Do we see her?
No.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
Yeah. So she's talking to Hannah about Hannah's talking about like, oh, there's crazy sexual harassment going on in my in my job, and Jess is like, who gives a shit? Why don't you just fuck your boss?
Yeah.
And Hannah's like, he's gross. I don't want to fuck my boss. Also, I have a boyfriend. And she's like, who the fuck is your boyfriend? She's like, Adam, we talked about it. Yeah. And Jess is like, I mean, I just fucked my boss for the story.
She said, why don't you do it for the story?
I'm all for fucking for the story.
Well, I would say this about Jessa. I feel like Jessa's just not like being the like devil on the shoulder. She's saying what Hannah's already thinking. Hannah's already like, I'm kind of flattered by this. Like,
really? You think that Hannah's flattered by it?
The look on her face is like the look on her face was like, oh yeah, no, it's like whatever. He lets me come in 20 minutes late or whatever. It's fine. Like, she loves the attention. Like, that's Hannah's character. She is with Adam because he will let her. Like, he's the guy that will like do it. Like, she loves that someone is affecting her. And there's other lines in the story with the Marnie character where she's talking about you've never been loved and all that stuff too.
I disagree. I don't think that she loves the boss doing it, but I think now
she was going to sleep with him. You think she?
I think
Jessa planted the seed?
I think Jessa incepted it. She wouldn't have normally done that because the first episode she was so uncomfortable about it. And when she was talking about Jessa about it, she wasn't like talking about like this is gross. She was kind of like talking like
oh, this guy is grabbing my butt. Like she was braggadocious about it more than
I
than
agree
saying,
with that.
Yeah.
She wasn't.
It wasn't bringing up like this thing happens and I don't know what to do about it. It was like, yeah, he slapped my butt, but like I
It
get
was very
things out of it.
nonchalant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you that, but I don't know.
He cheats on me, but he buys me nice things, so he's all right. Like that kind of braggadociousness to it, which was like, I'm telling you, Hannah was like loving the attention of it, because she doesn't see herself as the traditional person that would get sexually harassed at work kind of thing. That's the way I took it.
I don't know. I don't think I agree.
I don't
with
think Jessa said that one line and it flipped Hannah's whole perspective around, because that has never happened to her.
I think that Hannah is very susceptible to suggestion, as we've seen throughout this series. And I think that Jess is suggesting, like, maybe you should just fuck your boss. Who cares? Maybe she's like trying to be like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't care. I don't think that she enjoys the sexual harassment. I'm not with you on that.
Well, when she goes to the,
because she was like,
when she goes to the office and she's trying to put her butt out in front of, like, this is, we got to talk about Hannah. It's impossible.
Well, no. We'll talk about Hannah. We'll talk about Hannah in a second. We'll just get through Jessa.
Right.
So then the next time we see Jessa, she's putting on lipstick at the place where she's babysitting, but it seems like she lives there now.
Yeah, I was really confused by that. Like, it's before her babysitting shift, and she's getting ready.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's like after a babysitting shift. It's like she's like, oh, I'm going to go out, but then I'll be back.
Yeah, I was
again.
very confused.
I was like, why is she over there?
She was like, yeah, I'm just getting ready. The dad's like, oh, the girls need you to, we need you to watch the girls at 7. And she's putting on lipstick in their bathroom.
Yeah.
And it's the middle of the day. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Well, then you get the flirtatiousness of like, oh, are you meeting out with the boyfriend? She's like, no, he was an ex though, and like they have this jealousy kind of like the dad is kind
so
of
about it.
And then when the mom shows up and she's like, hey, this is where everyone's hanging out, and Jessa has this look on her face like, oh, we just been kind of caught in this.
And the dad also has the look.
Yeah, they look like they've been up to, and they weren't really up to anything.
Well, the dad comes in and he's like, whoa, you look hot, basically. Yeah. He's like, where are you going? You look good. Mm-hmm. She's like, I'm going to go meet up with a friend of mine from San Francisco. Yeah. And dad's like, is it a boyfriend?
And you're like, oh,
and she's like, no, it's an ex. And then he's like, she was like, he dumped me. And then he was like, who could ever dump you? And I was like, no one should ever engage with this person.
Yeah.
She's the worst.
People are drawn to her like a moth to a flame. I'm telling you, she's got that it factor in the show.
I will admit, Jess is hot. If I were around her, I'd be like, wow, that girl's hot.
Well, I feel like all these people are seeing her from the outside of like, she has an accent, she's kind of flirtatious, she looks like she's gettable, and like, it's one of those things where, like, if you just meet this person out at a bar, you're not going to be like, well, you know, she's really a bad person. Like, for, like, a one-night situation type thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially, like, that guy that she met in the bar that started immediately fucking her in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, can I use your phone? And then they start fucking for some.
It was game on. So, like, I don't think he was like, I wonder what her personality's like.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
so, yeah. We're seeing a deper window.
But, like, this dad knows her more than that guy did. Yeah. Well, nobody really knows about, like, all the... Dude, she's just an idiot. And she's just... I'm unraveling, Vince.
I told you this one, but we didn't start. No, okay. So she...
She's just a bad person.
All right.
There's no redeemable qualities about her yet. I don't know if something happens later on.
I think something later. I think Well, this is in the next scene, we see her. It's when she's walking.
Well, hold on. We need to keep talking about like all three of them in the bathroom because it is awkward as fuck.
It is super awkward.
The mom from the family is like Catherine Hahn.
Yeah.
She's like, wait, what's going on in here?
I still don't understand why she's in their house.
Well, hold on a second. Yeah. And they're all like, oh, you know, Jess was meeting up with a guy. And then the dad's like, wait, are you using my wife's lipstick?
I thought it was interesting that he brought it up and she didn't bring it up.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, isn't that her lipstick? And then the wife is like, oh, no, it's fine. I got a bunch of them. I was like,
No, that's not cool.
No, that's not cool. And
No.
like, why is she there?
Yeah, why is she there? Why is she?
She's not babysitting
also,
right now.
Jess is definitely. I mean, 80% of people have it. Jess has definitely got some mouth herpes going on. That's just so rude and inconsiderate.
Yeah, it's just like it doesn't make sense for the mom to be like so cool about it. I was more shocked that the dad even brought it up.
Yeah.
Like, I thought if she walked out and the mom was like, was she wearing my lipstick? Then it'd be like, oh, okay, now that's something. But like, now I'm like, what?
Yeah. I mean, that's rude as fuck for her to do. But it's weird that the mom was cool about it.
This is all setting up really well to tease for what's coming down the line, I think. And the next scene really brings that up.
Yeah.
Well, in the next scene, we can bump them all together. It's when she meets up with, do you know the guy's name? She just meets up with the ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, I don't remember the guy's name.
And they're walking around.
We'll call him Hipster John.
Hipster John, okay.
So she meets up with Hipster John, who is her ex-boyfriend from San Francisco.
They're walking around the park. He's telling her about this girl he's marrying.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'm not going to have sex with you.
I'm not going to. And she's like, why did you call me then? He's like, because like, you're great and you're perfect and I just want to see how you're doing and we're friends and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And then it's just hard cut to them.
Them fucking.
And you just see
you
it coming
knew
out.
that was coming.
Yeah, because it's like no reason for him to meet up with.
Yeah, why would you meet up with your ex-girlfriend?
She knew, yeah.
She knew the jig was up. Like, but also...
It's a power play, though. That's what it is. Because she ends up hooking up with him and going back to, she does still live with Shoshana.
Mm-hmm.
So she bursts in the room. Shoshana's in the room somehow, like...
Yeah.
When she gets burst in and like they have sex and she's hanging out the window and Shoshana's just like watching and like
Shoshana hides behind like a curtain and is watching like this is like
it's so funny.
It's very funny, but like how do you not notice that? But also hipster guy is like as soon as he said we're not having sex,
yeah, well,
I was like,
this
is where
fine.
this is going. Like, why is she so irresistible? And he's like, you have a beautiful mind and you're beautiful. I was like, what have you seen that all of us watching the show haven't seen? Like, why do people like this woman?
I feel like they could give her a little more depth of like
but that's the thing.
But they haven't yet.
That's the thing is I don't even know where she stands on anything. Because she's just like, I'm just going to fuck, and then she's sad.
Is she only friends with Hannah, or is she friends with Marnie, too?
No, because remember in that flashback, they were all in college together.
Okay. So
which was a weird as fuck scene in the middle of nowhere. I was like, what's happening here?
There's a flashback where they're at a Galactic Safe Sex party at Oberlin College in 2007.
Yeah.
We'll talk
about that later.
So this guy has sex with her.
Yeah, they're fucking.
Afterwards, he tries to kiss her, and she's like,
"What about Gillian?"
Yeah,
and it's like,
"What about your fiance or whatever?"
Yeah, and he's like, "All right, whatever."
And then he bounces.
And then he leaves. Like that was.
Right.
There was only like 2 minutes of sex.
Yeah, that's enough for that scene.
Busts.
That was enough for that scene.
Yeah.
It's TV. It's that TV sex thing. It wasn't going to be like, it's a 30-minute show? The whole episode's going to be that?
I don't know.
They didn't cut away or cut back either. It wasn't like that happened and then they cut away and it's
and then they cut back to that
same
story.
Later,
No, it was like he's on top of her, or
maybe some more stuff happened on the bed before the edit to the window.
I don't know, man. But that edit to the window was fucking weird. Like, who fucks out the window?
And it was
Jessa, because she's so wild and crazy. She's so sexually open. Oh, fuck her, dude.
So anyway, the guy leaves. Shoshana like starts laughing. She just bursts out and laughs real quick, and she bursts out and laughs, and then she's Jessa turns back to her and it's like, "Oh, you little pervert!
Yeah, you're a pervert. You're a little pervert. I knew you were crazy, but I didn't know that you were such a perv."
Yeah, and she says it in a funny, joking way that's like interesting.
Yeah.
Like,
and then Shoshana's just like standing there aghast.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Let this be a lesson. What you just saw proves that I can never be smoted.
I am unsmotable."
I was like, "What are you talking about?" But reading this Wikipedia,
don't read the Wikipedia to me.
What did you
say? I think.
What do you think this is?
Right. Why? Yeah.
Well, I have it open for the stats
Okay.
when it comes out.
Stats. Okay, so what I saw with that is like it was a complete teaser for like her and the husband guy. Because once he starts to show like he's not interested in her, when she gives a little flirt seed, it's just gonna make her want him even more. And like I feel like because that's just it's a dynamic. This guy's about to get married, and she's like, I can still have. She wants to know that she can still have anybody.
Yeah.
That's her thing, and like she knows she can have this dad whenever she wants right now. So if a moment happens where the dad rebuffs one of her like advances, then she's gonna be like even more aggressive trying to get him to sleep with her, and without regards of how it would affect the family, how it would affect the mother and the kids. Like she doesn't care about any of that.
I honestly hope that if she does come on to the dad of the family that she's babysitting for, and I'm certain she will. Oh yeah. I hope that he rejects her.
He
so
is going to
hard.
reject her.
I
This
hope
is
that he does, and
he's
it
going
just
to
like crushes her.
He's gonna turn it down. Like, no, I'm married. Like he's gonna be one of those ones where like you're like, ooh, I kind of would like to do this, but like this is dumb. It's not worth it. Yeah.
The Wikipedia page says Jessa has a fling with a former boyfriend who she brings to her apartment, and they have quick sex. And then she dumps him just to make him see how she felt when he rejected her after sex.
Oh, from that line earlier when she's telling the dad that he's the one that broke up with her.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
I like my theory.
Yeah, I like your theory better.
I feel like that plays longer for the long con, like because we don't know this. It wasn't like the whole episode was built up about her trying to get back with his boyfriend that left her. You know?
Her story sucks.
It's interesting that her storyline is so far apart from the other two girls.
Yeah. And they just skimped out on our favorite person. We only got a cameo appearance.
I'm down for Shoshana's
she didn't say a word.
Card. Yeah.
She didn't say a word in this episode.
No, she said, didn't she say something?
She just
All right. Yeah, I mean,
she was like a bad anime character.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like it was really no reason for her to even be there to see it, other than to have Jessa say the unsmotable line.
Yeah,
yeah.
I hate her. I fucking hate her.
I don't hate her as much as you do, but she is my least favorite character.
She's unlikable. She has not even that she's unlikable. Yeah. She has no reason to be in this show right now. All of her adventures are so separate.
Yeah.
And like she doesn't interact with the people really.
Yeah. She is girl to girls.
Yeah. I just don't get where she fits in the show at all. Like the other people like Marnie and Hannah are obviously like they're best friends or whatever and they're roommates. But Jessa and Shoshana are roommates and they barely interact.
Yeah.
You don't see their like weird relationship. They're cousins.
Yeah.
Like
well, you know, let's just talk about the girls then.
Let's talk about the real girls of girls.
So this
Marnie
episode,
and Hannah.
This episode opens with picking up right where the last one left off.
Yes.
And they're back in Hannah and Marnie's apartment. And Charlie's telling Hannah to read this while he stands next to Marnie. Like, and she's reading that same essay from her like journal about how smothering love and how she's just
how Marnie's miserable and
wants to get out.
Charlie they should break up, and Charlie should find somebody that appreciates his smothering love.
Yeah,
etc. And Charlie's coming off like a real maniac here. He's like, read it out loud, read it with honesty.
Yeah,
and Hannah's just reading it.
Hannah again,
very monotonous.
Hannah could not be more happy to have like her writing being read. Like that's her thing. Like she cares about like her like essays and her writing and her stories. Yeah,
Hannah seemed like a real bad friend in this scene to me.
Yeah,
she was like reading it and she was just like, "What? I don't see what the big deal is."
Well, I will in her defense be like, "Hey, I wrote this and they snooped around and found it."
Yeah,
like
and that was her defense, which is very defensible.
Yeah,
Marnie's defense was, I didn't write this. Why are you mad at me? Mm-hmm. Which is very defensible.
But also, she's like, oh, so that is a great line about like, why would you lie in a journal? Like, that's what Charlie says to her. And it's like, yeah, like, sure, she wrote that in that journal, but that definitely came from Marnie. And it's obvious.
Yeah, but it's also, she's like getting very really anal about the definition of a journal and a diary.
That's just for comedy purposes.
like,
That's for comedy purposes. It's funny.
Yeah, but I mean, if so much of this drama, like your best friend's really pissed off at you, her boyfriend's like screaming at you, I don't think you'd get really like, actually, it's not a diary.
That's what
when
she's
I
done
think of
every
diary."
episode. That's so funny. I think that's
that.
comedy.
I think she seemed like she had Asperger's.
Well, I thought after like throwing the drink in Hannah's face last episode, that this episode would focus more on Marnie being upset with Hannah, but we really didn't get too much of that, which I'm happy we didn't, because I don't think that should really be the crux. Should be them dealing with their relationship, her and Charlie, Marnie and Charlie, but I don't think Hannah and Marnie should have had it shouldn't have been a Hannah.
Who
Marnie,
do you think in this triangle of Hannah, Charlie, Marnie is in the wrong?
Is in the wrong?
The most in the wrong.
The most in the wrong would probably be Charlie.
Yeah, I agree with you. Because
Charlie didn't just find it himself when he was in somebody's room, like fixing something that they asked him to come over and fix. He had his friend just snooping around all.
Well, he wasn't
rooms.
like, "Hey, go snoop."
No, but
Ray,
he wasn't.
Ray is his friend.
He was not telling him to stop.
He did.
He was like, "Stop," but like not in a way that's not in a way that's like it's gonna stop him from. He's like, "Hey man, that's not cool," and just stood in the doorway and watched him rummage, and not just rummage in Marnie's room. He then watched him go into the other room.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's all on Charlie. They shouldn't even be in there.
Yeah, but Charlie's kind of a pushover.
He is 100%.
Look, I'm with you 100% that Charlie is in the most wrong here.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, I don't know about I don't know what you would have wanted him to do to Ray when he's like reading the diary.
Tell him to stop being like
he did. He did tell him to stop.
But like you gotta stop. Like literally grab him, push him out of the room, and close the door. Like stop.
Yeah.
Like you. Like that's just not cool. I know it's hard to tell your friends not to do something, but like why would you let him start picking up your girlfriend's vibrators?
That was weird.
That was weird, and that's before he goes into, and he's going through her underwear. He's going through Hannah's underwear.
Yeah,
like that's
weird.
And then come on, yeah. Okay. So yeah, Charlie's
definitely the most in the wrong, but I don't even.
Oh, he has the right to feel the way he felt once he found it. He even admitted in that scene that he wishes he never found it.
Yeah,
which is fine, but yeah, you're in the wrong for like looking for it. I don't think Hannah's that wrong for having written it down.
Yeah, I don't think Hannah's wrong to write it down because it is her thing and it's like her essay or whatever. I think Marnie's kind of in the wrong for like being pissed at Hannah.
But she's not. She's pissed at Hannah, but she's not as much pissed anymore in this episode, or at least we don't see the frustration.
Yeah,
they don't really have a scene one-to-one. The way that the opening scene ends is when Charlie leaves. Mm-hmm. And then
he's talking about how he's important to the community of the apartment,
and he like takes his table and like coffee table and flips it over and like storms out with it.
Yeah,
he's
like, "You're all dicks, fuck you." And Hannah's like, "This is what happens right before they start hitting women."
Yeah, this is what happens before you hit us.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, and then this was still like really funny, and this tells you what Hannah is. Once Charlie leaves, Marnie she looks at Marnie and goes, "Now, be honest. If this essay wasn't about you, would you like it?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's just her. She just cares about her writing. It's so wrong and not a great friend, but that's what she is. That's what she is. She's just."
That's where I was like, "Do you not have any social awareness?"
She doesn't have social awareness. That's the whole point.
I hate that. Like, you can tell that Charlie's
upset. She told
a
rape joke at a job interview.
That's very true.
Like, this is what her character is: foot in mouth, constantly.
But like, I feel like most people, and I just don't think a human being would do this. Like, a guy is very upset and he's like flipping out and yelling at you, yelling at his girlfriend. I don't think you'd be like throwing quips out there, you know?
I think she's using her comedy as a defense mechanism too.
I don't know. Like, I just thought it was like dickish.
I thought it was
dickish to Charlie because it's like you're kind of.
She's mad at Charlie for going through her thing.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, why is she defending Charlie? Like, she doesn't care.
Yeah.
There's no reason for her to like care about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But. Like, it's obviously affecting her best friend.
She also doesn't think Marnie should be with her because she's been telling him that she shouldn't. So she's like, yeah, if this guy leaves, great.
Yeah, her attitude is kind of like, what? Marnie, I did you a favor.
Yeah.
But, like, you shouldn't have done it. But, like, now that it's done, I did
Yeah.
you a favor.
And that's what they talk about when she's slurping cereal from the bowl.
God.
Your favorite.
God, I
we
wrote
got a
that
food
down.
scene.
God,
we got
her
a food
slurping
scene.
that cereal
Just
is
bowl
so
up
gross.
to the face and just slurp, slurp, slurp.
God, and her tattoos are so bad. Like, they're blurry already. Like, how long ago did you get those? What are you, like a fucking World War II vet? Why are they so blurry?
It's the faded tattoo look.
Oh, God.
But so that's
But Marnie's trying to get Charlie back.
So yeah, the next I think they're just at breakfast the next day having, and she's like, yeah, Marnie's like, I want to get Charlie back, and Hannah's like, why you don't want him? She's like, I'm not happy now the way things are, and
All right.
she tells Hannah that she's never been loved, so she doesn't
she's
know.
like, you don't get it because you've never been loved like this. And Hannah's like, I even out loud, I went, damn.
And then Marnie touched back, kind of like, I love you.
Yeah. Your
And
dad,
your dad loves you, and your boss loves you.
That was a nice little
Yeah.
dig at the end too.
Yeah.
All right, this is where we have converging paths, where the story of Marnie and Hannah separate. I think we should go down the Marnie path.
Hey, let's keep down this Marnie Charlie path. For real.
Okay, perfect. So, after they eat breakfast and Hannah's slurping her cereal with her fucking awful tattoos, Marnie takes a trip to Grumpy Cafe or whatever, Grumpy Coffee.
Yeah, Grumpy Coffee. It's a place when I was working in Greenpoint at the time. We used to get coffee from there, and it's good throwback.
Good
to
little
see
hot
that.
spot.
Yes, good
Nice
coffee
little
there.
spot to see.
Yeah.
So she goes over to this coffee place, which is where Ray works, Charlie's friend, he's in a band with, and Ray is not happy to see her. He's like, "Get the fuck away! You're mean to my best friend.
Yeah.
You were what was the quote? He was like, "You're ass fucking his heart" or something like that, which is like so that. He's been in 3 episodes, but that is the most Ray thing to say. Like this guy.
Yeah, I mean, his character, like, he's going to be there. He's going to throw out some crude,
He's a
kind of
doof.
funny lines.
Yeah.
He's got his, I mean, shouldn't be rummaging through girls' stuff.
Yeah.
But he's got some funny lines here and there. And he's a jerk, but he's an entertaining one to watch on TV.
Yeah, he's an adolescent in a human body,
Yeah.
in an adult body. So he's like trying to avoid talking to her, and Marnie's like, "Look, I know that you're mad at me, and I know that Charlie's mad at me, but I just want to make things right." And Ray's like, "Who? I don't care.
Yeah.
Get away from me. I don't
Yeah.
like you." And she's like, "Just give me his address."
And this is when we learn that Marnie has never been
They've
to
been
Charlie's
dating.
apartment ever.
They've been dating for 4 years at least, I think. I forget how long they've been dating.
Charlie lives by himself.
Yes.
He has an apartment by himself that he lives in.
And
Marnie lives with a
Marnie-
roommate that is Hannah.
And Marnie has never, ever been there. This is where I lost so much respect for Marnie. I was like,
I lost respect for Charlie at that moment.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? She has never been to your place?
well, I mean, they explain later why.
We're not dating. We've been at each other's places.
I know, dude. It's like, that was so, and then even Ray looked at her like, "You've never," and she's like, "Yes, I've never been to his apartment.
Now
Just
what-
give me his address."
Give me his address. And I'm like,
What a,
and why Ray does this?
yeah, I don't get
I
why.
don't get.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I don't get this.
To move the plot forward.
To move yeah, true. Like, I thought the whole episode might be her like running through Brooklyn and trying to figure out where he lives, knocking on doors. I was like, Ray's not gonna do this.
Yeah.
And you got to think this is a time a little bit before, like, social media is. I mean, you still finding someone's address is tougher, but like you would think that she could like talk to one of his other friends
Yeah.
that they even reference, but I don't know.
But her whole plan
How
is
does she
like,
not know?
well, you know what I hate
You never
about
mailed him anything.
Yeah,
You never
that's
sent him a
just
gift.
Insane. She didn't help him move.
Like he's been so many. Yeah.
Well, I also just hate that this was before she goes to Ray's place.
Mm-hmm.
Her whole plan is like, I'm gonna get him back, and Hannah's like, how? And she's like, I'll just put on my party dress and show up and ask him to take me back. And I was like, wow, that is really awful.
And it almost hurts.
It is awful,
I
dude.
know.
And then she's never been to his apartment. I was like, wow,
Well,
you're terrible.
and that's the theme in this episode. The girls in this episode are just using their sexual being to try to like get guys to do what they want. Like every character in here, like Jess is like, oh yeah, I got this dad wrapped around my finger. I got this guy calling me that wants to claims that he loves his fiance. Hannah's got her whole thing with her boss and her quote unquote boyfriend Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Marnie gets his address. Ray's like, I wouldn't even hate fuck you. You better blow him. Or, this stupid shit.
Yeah. Which he's saying while he works behind the counter at a coffee shop.
And then she leaves and another person comes and goes, what?
Yeah.
Which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty good line.
Yeah.
So then Marnie goes to his apartment and Charlie has a fantastic apartment.
Great apartment. He's like built all these shelves and
he's
nooks
built
and like
so much shit.
Everything's compartmentalized, just great. It's like neat.
Even Marnie mentions like, wow, your apartment's amazing. It's like a Target ad.
Yeah.
And he's like, what are you fucking even talking about? It's like, this is, and he's obviously still hurt.
Yeah.
Marnie, but like she's taken aback. It's like, yeah, dude, why have you never been here?
Yeah. And she's like, you never invited me. He's like, I invited you all the time.
Yeah.
And then I just stopped.
Yeah. Because like and then she's like, well, it's hard to get from work. And he's like, no, it's not. I take the bus and the train to get to your place. It's like you're seeing all these sacrifices that Charlie's making to try and make this work, and it's just making Marnie seem like such a bad person.
She's like, oh, you never sleep here. He's like, well, I will now.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah,
that was a good line.
Like, you should, yeah.
That was a good line.
Yeah.
It was a little dig.
A little dig, yeah, but like, yeah, that's it's so insane that she had never been there.
I know. I can't get past
I kind of love that as a story beat. Like,
as a story beat, that's amazing. As a real person, that's horrifying.
Yeah, Charlie, what are you doing, man?
Yeah,
the signs are there.
Yeah, man, that's so. But I mean, he was in love. They met in college or whatever.
Yeah.
He was trying to make it work.
Let's talk about that flashback because that's where we're at.
Right,
we're at the flashback.
So
it kind of threw me off guard a little bit. They just,
it threw me off guard. I thought it was an ad for another show.
It was just like, okay, it was like the lower third comes up was like first time we've seen this, and it's like the Galactic Safe Sex Ball, Oberlin College, 2007, and you're like, okay, and you got Marnie with the headband and like her bangs. And she's like,
I thought it was a different person. I didn't know who that was.
Well, then at first I thought it was because Jess was there too, and I was like, Jessa wasn't wearing that outfit when she went to the party. I was like, because I completely forgot she was going to meet up a guy and just walk around a park. I was like, maybe this is the place she's meeting. I was like, does the show take place in 2007? And I didn't. You were like, it's flashback. I'm like, oh
yeah. You asked me, you were like, wait, is it 2007 when this came out? I was like, no, this is.
I was like, why is this show taking place 5 years before? Like a slight period piece that is girls. But so apparently Marnie has taken like some edibles or some drug or something. And she's freaking out, and Hannah's trying to talk to her. She's with her gay boyfriend,
Andrew Rannells.
Yeah. And Jess is there, and I don't remember if Jess said anything. She's just hanging out.
She doesn't say anything important because she never does, because she's the worst character. She just dips.
Yeah, so she literally just kind of walks away and goes party with some other people for a minute. And then Marnie's leaning against the post. And then I forget why Hannah wants to go. They're going to go get something for her. And the gay boyfriend comes over. I think it's Max.
I don't remember his name. I'm just going to call him Andrew Rannells.
All right.
So they're talking to her, and Andrew Rannells is kind of like, let's go back and party. Like, Scissor Sisters is playing.
Yeah.
And Hannah's like, oh, man, but like Marnie is stuck to the pole. Marnie keeps being like, I can't leave this pole. Yeah. I'm so paranoid, I can't leave the pole. So Hannah's like, she's stuck to the pole. And then Andrew Rannells is like, okay.
He just reaches over and grabs the nearest guy, it seems like.
Yeah, pretty much. He just like turns around and sees the guy, and he's like, grabs him. He's like, hey, you see this chick? Yeah. She's stuck to the pole. Just make sure she doesn't die. I really want to dance with my girlfriend or whatever. Yeah. So,
and we see Charlie with like medium length hair now. He's got the buzz cut presently. He started out with longer hair in the show.
Now he's got like
this shaggy
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they go like, hey, Marnie, this is Charlie. He's going to watch over you. We're going to go dance and have a good time. And then so they leave, and Charlie's just standing there like, hey, are you all right? And she's like, no, I'm stuck to the pole.
And it's just like, oh man, and it's like the worst meet cute I've ever seen.
I know, right?
And then she's like, he's like, do you want water? You want food? And she's like, a hug.
Yeah.
And he hugs her, and then he pulls back from the hug, and then he's talking to her some more. And she's like,
he's like, you should come see my band. We're playing in an hour next door. And she's like, just give me another hug.
And when she did the second hug, I was like, that's the smothering love. They started with smothering love right there.
Well, she asked for this.
She asked for this. She asked for it. She always.
She thought she wanted it.
At that point, I was like, man, that's your first meet. Like,
yeah, that's the moment. Back to present day, which was great. Jarring as fuck.
Yeah, because it's just Charlie and Marnie sitting on the bed, or like just in his apartment, like talking to each other.
Yeah.
And reminiscing about the flashback.
Reminiscing about that flashback. And then Charlie's like, yeah, I swear you look just like this porn star that I saw earlier. And then it was in Sophomore Sluts. It was like, dude, nobody remembers the name of porns.
Well, then he was like, well, I think the reason he remembered it is probably because he's like, after I met you, I went back home and played it again just because I was so sure that was you.
Yeah.
And she's like, you look at porn?
Yeah. Yeah, she was so baffled.
What show you're in?
She's so baffled that Charlie watches porn. And she's like, what do you mean you watch porn? He's like, yeah, I watch porn. Yeah. And she's like, why don't you just think about us having sex? And then he said, which was like such a good dig, and he was like, because if I think about us having sex, it makes me sad. Or sadder or something. Yeah. And I was like, whoa, dude. That.
All signs are pointing to Charlie being like, I'm done with this relationship.
Yeah. I mean, Charlie's laying out reasonable points where he's like, we shouldn't be together. You don't love me.
If he was a lawyer, the jury would have no choice.
He made the best argument. He's like, let's just like not be together. I get it. You don't love me. Like, what are you doing
He's
here?
like, we're not married. We don't have kids or anything. Like, we have the only reason we're together is because we've been together this long.
Yeah.
Like,
he's the most, that was the most reasonable thing that he said. And she's just like, but no.
The fact that she had to go ask your friend where your apartment was is that's number one.
Yeah.
That they shouldn't be together.
Yeah. And like, he's just bringing up great point after great point, being like, dude, I don't know why. And she's like, no, we should do this. And then eventually they get to the point where she's like, I'll do anything. Mm-hmm. Just don't break up with me. Yeah. And he's like, and then she lists off a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, she says, I'll kick Hannah out.
Yeah.
So what? Great, he gets to move into the apartment. And I was like, I thought it was a move where it's like, really? I thought Hannah's your best friend. You're just gonna kick her out for this guy that you don't really like. Yeah. She's like, oh, I'll give you more blowjobs. Like, it was just like offering everything.
She didn't say I'll give you more blowjobs. She said I'll give you blowjobs, which I was like, she's never given a blowjob. Yeah. And I lost more respect for her. Marnie. But she looks exactly, and she acts exactly like the type of person that wouldn't give a blowjob. Like, I wouldn't.
It's two things with her. It's either she's really sexually open and just looks like she's not when she's just walking around like super uptight, or she's just like walks around uptight and is actually
like a freak
uptight. Like she could be the freak in the bedroom.
Well, it's just weird,
or she's just kind of uptight in both.
Well, it's weird because she. Remember I think it was the first episode or second one where she's like, I want you to just like fuck me like a man. Yeah. But then she's like, I'll give you blowjobs. It's like, have you not?
Or like, oh, you watch porn? Like, and not like, cool, you watch porn. Yeah. Like, it's like her character's just like.
And then the Yorma Tacone thing was like, oh my God. She fingered herself in a
masturbating at like her work job at the gallery. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, which one are you?
Yeah.
Like, and I think they're still. I don't know. She's a complicated person.
I mean, everybody is a complicated person, whatever. Yeah. So that's her sales pitch, and Charlie folds. Charlie immediately folds. He's like, all right, I'll take you back. And then they start, like, banging, and he's like, you have to promise me, like, don't fucking be, like, an asshole like this again.
He says, my life matters.
He said something like, my life is real.
My life is real, yeah.
Which I was like, that's a good point, man.
It's cool. Like, I would love for you to say that already having sex.
I know, right? It's a poetic line. Yeah. Like, it's kind of cliche and like, meh, but like, it's true because she doesn't view him as like, or she's just like, oh, you're an accessory to my life.
Yeah, exactly.
You're my boyfriend. Mm-hmm. That's all you are. Yeah. He's like, no, dude, I've got a life. Yeah. Like, this shit, like, he built that up. That's insane.
No, like, he's in a really bad band, but he's much more crap. Like, you know what's funny? He's actually more handy. He's actually more handy than Adam Driver, who's always building like some weird stuff. And later we see building like with the blowtorch. Yeah.
So he's also, and then he just
he's
goes
a complete opposite of
overboard.
Adam. He's a complete opposite of Adam. Yeah.
Well, Charlie just starts going overboard with like, and you can't do this. You have to be nicer to my friends.
Don't abandon me. Like my dad left me. And I feel like abandonment. He was just
he's unloading
apart.
And he's saying all of this while she's like riding him.
Yeah.
And it's just awkward as shit. And he's like, come close to my face.
Yeah.
And then he's like, stay. And then I guess he blows his load and he's like, I love you. No,
well, he says, say I love you to her. He said, say I love you. And she goes, she starts to lean up and say, I can't, and bangs her head on the top of the...
She did like she doesn't start to lean up. She just goes, I can't!
just bangs her head
up against...
He's like, oh, no, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. And I'm like, and he's like, it's okay. I'm like, did you not hear what she was starting to say?
Yeah.
And then he's got there, and then all of a sudden she's just like, I think we should break up.
Yeah. And I was like, man, fuck you, Marnie. Fuck you. Let me get as close as I can to this mic without like peeking. Fuck you, Marnie. I hate you in this scene.
And I hated Charlie more for just letting all of this happen to him.
I mean, Charlie should have known better.
I mean, Charlie, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you just laid it all out. You think she's going to change because you found a diary?
Yeah, dude, no.
Like, just walk away.
You knew it was over, but Marnie fooled herself into thinking, like, I could win him back because, like, they've just been together.
But here's the thing. She didn't fool herself. She could win him back.
Yeah. But then Charlie fooled himself. Charlie's such a sucker. I hate him.
It's just like watching that. It's one of those things where you watch a person having those things happen to them, and I just be like, come on, man, just stand up for yourself this one time.
Spine.
Just have some self-respect. What, you're going to go back and hang out with Hannah and her in that apartment?
Right.
And you're going to tell Ray what? Oh, yeah, that was fine. We worked it out. She's going to be nicer to everyone but you. Like, what are you doing?
That's not... I mean, I've been in that situation before where it's like... me and a girlfriend broke up and then we got back together and it's just awkward as shit.
Yeah. Yeah, like what? Like you're like, all right, we got back together, but like all that stuff in the past did not magically disappear.
Oh yeah,
like any random slip up, it just unravels everything, and all of it comes tumbling down on you.
Exactly.
So yeah, he just got to walk away, man. And Marnie is attractive, but she's not a catch. Like, he doesn't seem like he has any fun when he's with her.
I'll say this. I'll say that Marnie is a catch.
Mm-hmm.
And Charlie is a catch, but obviously they're just not meant together.
But Charlie's not Charlie's not like this desperate, weird-looking slob where you're like, I don't think he could find a girl ever. Like, he's got a group of friends. He's super nice, helpful. Like, yeah,
he's got a lot going on.
I mean, dating is hard and tricky and tough.
Dating is hard. The Dating is Hard podcast at Dating is Hard Comedy. Datingishard.com. Datingishardcomedy.com for the other podcast that I host.
I set you up for that one.
Yeah, you fucking did. I think you just saw the skateboard on the wall. And you're
like, dating is hard. So like, even if you're an attractive person or like whatever, it still can be tough for you to find someone that you vibe with.
I feel like Charlie, there's also a little bit of doubt in him that he's like, this is the hottest girl I can get kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he's good.
I mean, you just got to get out. It's not worth it.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
You know, I forgot to say this when we were talking about Jessa. Sorry. But it just reminded me. Jessa should get with Yorma Tacone. They seem like a good, like, crazy fuck match.
I'd be interested to see if and when Yorma Tacone comes back.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much where we leave it with Marnie. That's her arc.
Yeah. And it's really intercut editing-wise with the whole Hannah storyline.
Yes.
Especially her relationship with Adam and Marnie's relationship with Charlie are like spliced back and forth, and we get to see like the two dynamics of how they're
juxtaposition of their
what we did forget to talk about when we talked about Jessa is when Hannah is telling Jessa about the boss touching her and stuff. She mentions like, I can't sleep with him because I have a boyfriend, and I feel like that's
part of the Hannah part.
But the thing that's really
now.
The thing that was really funny of it is like Jess had one of the great lines there. She's like, "Oh, I told Adam how I felt and all this thing." Because the last episode, she really unloaded on like the relationship, and then she's like, "And he like he touched my face and he kissed me, and I think like, yeah, we're boyfriend girlfriend now. And Jessica goes, yeah, guys like that will try anything once. Like trying to be a boyfriend once. It was like great. I was like, oh, like Jessica is worldly, like, you know.
Yeah.
She knows what she's doing, and the thing is, she just doesn't care. It's not like she's aloof. Like Hannah is like kind of aloof.
This is what I'll say about Jessa in that scene and what you're saying. She is worldly, but you know when people say like they're worldly in manners of the heart? Jessa is worldly in manners of the slut.
I thought you were going to say penis.
No. Jessa knows that Hannah's getting fucked over because Adam is not her boyfriend.
I don't even think she's ever met Adam. None of them have
None
ever
of
met
them have
Adam.
Yeah.
And
Jessa knows.
But Jessa knows Adams.
Yeah, she knows. She's dealt with Adams.
And she's like, I'm a half an Adams.
Yeah, she's like,
I'm Adam late.
Look, I'm around Adams constantly.
Yeah.
This guy is not your boyfriend. He's
so are you trying to get into my theory of that Marnie's going to hook up with Adam and try to think Jessa's going to hook up with Adam?
I hope that Marnie does not hook up with Adam.
I want to see it.
I don't.
He's the polar opposite of Charlie.
I hope not. I hope that Marnie. After this, I'm mad at Marnie. If Marnie's my friend,
out of people to be mad at.
If I'm mad at, if I'm friends with Marnie, I'm giving her a good talking to after this.
But if you're friends with Marnie, you're not a person that can talk during this show.
Yo, if I'm friends,
you're not taking advice from Hannah or Jessa or Shoshana.
If I'm friends with Marnie, after this episode, I'm trying to hook up with Marnie.
all those platonic guy friends just come out of the closet.
Oh yeah, exactly. Oh, so you're like single now, right?
Oh wait, no, let's go out for dinner just as friends now.
You know, that guy was an asshole anyway.
Come over and watch this new series on Netflix. Yeah, that's the real.
Yeah. So Jessa knows that Hannah's like, she's getting stuff. And when Hannah described why they're boyfriend and girlfriend, I was like, wow, you're stupid. Yeah. It's like, he touched my face and he kissed me.
Because she's only been in a relationship with the gay guy. Yeah. That's her whole story.
Yeah.
Before Adam. So this is like one of my, I gotta say, the boss character is hilarious. Yeah. He is wrong in all the stuff that he's doing. Like, I'm not for that, but
reprehensible. What a scumbag.
Does he have some lines?
Well,
so we see Hannah at work, and she's trying to crush a box. Yeah, she's trying to break down a box by like pushing her body against the box against the wall. Yeah, and the boss walks by and he just pats her on her butt. Yeah, and just like a good firm pat on the butt and walks by. Yeah, and then he walks off screen and off camera we hear him say, "Hey, can you someone show Hannah how to properly break down a box?" And I was looking at her like, because I wasn't paying attention to what she was doing at first. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, she's really trying to crush a box. Like, I didn't know what she was doing. Yeah, instead of taking the bottom apart and just flattening it and folding it, she's leaning it against the wall and pressing into it like she's never done any physical labor in her life. Yeah, she just kind of looks like a slug on the wall. And I just love the boss pats her on the butt and then calls her. And I'm just like, someone help her do this.
Well, this is why I say that she doesn't like the harassment, is when he hits her on the butt, when she's doing that, she looks disgusted and she like turns her body against the wall to like try and prevent
Does that scene happen before she's walking with Jessa?
It happens after.
That's after? Yeah. Okay. So we get that and then we get her in the office? Yes. Okay. So Hannah goes into I think the boss calls her into the office to order like some lunch or something.
She brings files in. He's like, just plop them down. Yeah. And then she plops them down and she goes, plop.
Classic Hannah.
That line will be etched in my memory forever.
Oh, I'm so happy I didn't hear it. Because that would be stuck in my head.
She went like this. She went, plop.
That's her being flirtatious. Yeah. That's so bad.
Yeah, dude.
And then she goes over to he's like, oh, I'm thinking about getting some lunch.
Yeah, he's like, I gotta work through lunch. Can you pick up a sandwich?
And like she goes over to the window and like kind of sticks her butt out, like just waiting for him to like come and like to leer at her to come and like
give her a nice pat.
Yeah. And then he doesn't. and he's just talking about
He's talking about that sandwich.
that pastrami Russian dressing sandwich, no tomatoes. I got really locked in on the food order.
Yeah, you did.
Because I'm not looking at Hannah's butt right there. I'm like, hey, let's get this sandwich going.
Yeah.
So then she's like, all right, I'm just gonna be forward.
Yeah,
with
she
them.
turns around.
And she just says, hey, you want this? You can have it. I don't care. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to trap you.
I know you want to fuck me.
Yeah.
So let's just do it. And he's looking like, what? She's like, yeah, you've been fucking touching me the whole time. I get it. You want to fuck me. And then she grabs his hand and puts it on her boob.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm going to make your fantasy come true.
And he just burst out laughing. It is the funniest moment.
It was hilarious and also the saddest thing.
Oh, it's the saddest thing. Like, no one wants that to ever happen to them.
No.
Like, and this is a weird, and then it's such a weird dynamic because you're like, this guy is a problem. He's handsy,
he's
touching
a perv.
people.
He's gross.
Yeah. And now I'm like, now Hannah's the problem.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, who am I? Like, in this scene, I'm like, who am I rooting for?
Yeah.
Like, you're making me root for touchy-feely boss.
Yeah, you're making me root for Jessa to come in to get involved somehow. I fucking hate her.
So, during this scene, she's like, oh, like once he says that, he's like, no, I'm married, and like, no, like I'm not like.
He's like grossed out, kind of.
Yeah,
he's like,
like,
no, I'm a married man.
Yeah,
like, we shouldn't do this. He's like, I'm a married man.
Yeah.
I'm your boss.
Yeah.
This is not an appropriate thing for you to be doing.
I know.
He calls her out on sexual harassment, and then she's like,
I could sue you.
You know, I could sue you, right? And he's like, what?
Yeah.
And she's like, you. And she names the other people in the office.
And he asks her, are you on drugs?
Yeah, that was a great line. She should have just taken that out and been like, yes, I'm sorry.
I gotta leave. Yeah.
But she's like, me, the other girls, we could sue you because you're constantly touching us, you're constantly harassing us, and it's bullshit, and we could sue you. And he owns her so hard in this scene.
So good.
It's unbelievable.
You don't even know how to break down a box. There's no suing app on your iPhone.
Yeah, it's
like
that was so fucking good. Like, that guy is a piece of shit.
And he wasn't saying, and mind you, he's not saying this in like a threatening, evil boss guy. He's saying this like a jokey, like, hey,
he's
no,
like, stop. What are you thinking? Like, why are you doing this?
And it's so interesting because he could be like, you're not gonna do anything, and be like real sinister.
Yeah.
But he's just like this jovial like boss guy.
Yeah,
and it feels like someone's like dad.
Because to him, the touching is like that's just who I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I do.
I'm like wondering, like, is he touch it? Like, I don't think he's. I don't know. Like, I feel like if people are like, hey, don't touch us, like, stop it. But like, he actually did say in the episode, if it bothers you, let me know. I felt like that was a psychological.
That was a power thing.
Yeah.
I feel like now
maybe he just
maybe it is.
Yeah.
Where it's like if you did ask him, he'd be like, okay, I won't. But
she threatens to sue him, and then she goes like, well, I'm gonna quit and then do this and blah blah blah. And he's like, or you can pay me $1,000 right now.
Yeah.
So then she's extorting him.
And he's like, why are you doing this? Like, don't do this.
Like, don't quit. I don't want you to quit.
Yeah, he doesn't want her to quit. And she's like, why do you want me here? I just tried to fuck you, I tried to sue you, and I just tried to extort you.
Yeah.
And he's like, because you got fun.
You got potential. You don't know how to do a lot of things. Like, it's really funny.
There's
like,
really no reason for him to have her.
Like, she's the most useless person in the office.
And then she storms out and she's like, I quit, basically. Mm-hmm. And she's like, and I'm going to write an essay about you, and I'm not going to change your name, and you can sue me then.
Yeah.
And then she slams the door, and he's just like, all right.
Yeah. Yes. And I was just like, man, like, I was wondering, like, did she really just quit that job?
Yeah, I didn't hear her say I quit, but later on we find out that I guess she did quit.
Yeah, so after that, she ends up going over to Adam.
Just
a pop in. Just popping in.
Just popping in. Adam's not expecting her.
Adam's always shirtless. Adam always shirtless.
Not only is he always shirtless, he has jeans on, and they're always unbuttoned and unzipped.
Ready for action. Anytime.
I didn't realize that until this episode. I was like, why are they not?
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to be shirtless. Like, I'm shirtless at home alone all the time. but his pants are. Where's some sweatpants?
Why are you wearing jeans?
Yes.
Like, jeans aren't comfortable for lounging at home.
And what was he doing with that blowtorch?
They just see him. He's got goggles on, and he's got a blowtorch, and he's like shaking it up, and he's got this like metal in the L shape, the right corner that he's obviously doing some welding in his apartment, I guess. And he's complete opposite handyman as Charlie.
Yeah, like he's very he's like a jazz handyman, and Charlie's very much like a follow the rules.
He's gonna make some sculptures and stuff, but nothing that's practical. You can't use this.
He'll make a seat, but the third, like one of the legs will be too short. Yeah, and it'll just be like, that's part of the character of the chair.
You know? Just saying the world is lopsided, don't you get it?
Yeah. Ugh. So Hannah pops up there, and he's like, "Oh, hey, what's up, kid?" And she's like, "Nothing, adult," or whatever her stupid line is. That made me want to barf.
I love that he keeps calling her kid, though. It's so funny.
Yeah. And then she's like, "I just quit my job," and he's like, "Really? Didn't you already quit a job or something?" He was like, "Didn't you just get that job?" Dude, he has great lines too.
I'm sorry, he's so good in this show. He's such a weird
character.
But man, I mean,
watching
anytime
him,
he's on screen, I'm just like, something's interesting gonna
watching
happen.
him makes me cringe, but I would rather watch him than Jessa 100 times.
And I will say this about Adam. I like seeing Adam interacting with Hannah, because the two of them, the way their personalities interact is so interesting and dynamic that like she says these things that make him look like Hannah makes people that are bad look like they are in the right.
Yeah.
Like, she makes Adam look
that
like
is the amazing way to put that.
Like, she makes the boss look like he's, like, not a perv. She makes Adam look like the most sane, rational person in the world. You know?
It's funny because she comes to Adam with problems, and he's like, I don't care. Why do you care?
She's like, oh my God. She said something. She's like,
there's a sex scandal.
There's a sex scandal at work. He's like, sometimes the stuff you say sounds made up. And she's like, everything is made up or whatever.
Yeah, and he's like, it's either made up or everything bad happens to you.
It's so good. Like, I'm like, damn, dude. Do I like Adam?
You know, he's like the Wilson to her Tim Allen. It's he has like some weird wisdom.
What an old reference. Home Improvement. Look it up. Home Improvement. Tim Allen.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he just boils her problems down to like the simplest, like, why do you care?
And it's just amazing. Like, so then she tries to tries to feel him.
Yeah,
get her hands down those jeans.
Yeah, she tries to grab his
dick.
dick.
Whoa. No, and he goes and sits onto the couch that we first seen them have sex on, and he's sitting on it, and he's just like, "No, you came over and you said,
he's like, we're not doing that anymore.
Yeah, we're not doing that anymore because you said you wanted to. Like, I was holding you back and all this stuff."
Yeah, and she's like, "I never said that." And he's like, "Yeah, you did. You said like you told me to lose your number until after Christmas."
Yeah,
and he's like, "This is what you said," and she's just like, "No, I want to still have fuck."
She's like,
God.
she says, but you kiss me. And she's like, "Yeah, you look sad." And then because I remember when it happened, I was like, "Oh man, he does seem human in that scene last episode." And then, so then that happens, and then she goes, "But then we had sex." He's like, "Yeah, we were kissing." Which is he just firing them out?
Yeah, he's like so matter of fact and to the point, and
that's what I love about him. Like he wades through her like existential bullshit and just like says what he. It just says what's actually happening.
He's like, "Well, why did you do that?" And he's like, "Because I wanted to."
Yeah.
And then she's like, "All right, I'm gonna go to the bathroom." And she goes to the bathroom, and he looks like, "What is going on?"
The look on his face was like, I was like, everyone was like, "Yeah, man." Like, I was like relating with him 100%.
Yeah, he was like, "What is she fucking doing?"
Yeah.
Oh, before she goes to the bathroom though, she goes, "You know, I almost had sex with someone else today," and he's like, "Cool." And she's like, "It was my boss." And he goes, "Is that what that sex scandal was?"
Yeah.
And then she goes, "No, but I didn't."
But he goes, is he hot?
Yeah.
And
she goes, "No, he's like 1,000,000 years old." And he's like, "So then why would you do it?"
Yeah.
And then she was like, "I don't know, maybe for the story, maybe just to be an asshole."
Yeah.
And then she goes to the bathroom, and he's looking like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" It was like he's the biggest weirdo, and he's making the most sense in this.
Exactly.
He's just what?
But then it's just like to be like, "Oh well, I can't not be weird in this scene."
Yeah.
She goes in the bathroom. She's sitting there. She starts crying.
Yeah.
And, like, it's...
You had a great line where she's sitting on the bathroom.
I was like,
and then Vance goes, while we're watching this, he goes, man, she needs a cupcake.
She's always eating cupcakes in the bathroom. If she would have reached out of frame and pulled a cupcake in, I would have accepted it.
I would have lost it.
It would have been the greatest moment ever.
Oh my God, that would have been so
Her
funny.
bathroom cupcake. She just kept them there just in case the next time she was there.
Like an emergency bathroom cupcake. So she's in the bathroom.
Oh my
she
God.
leaves. She was like, Adam, I'm going to go. And she can't find Adam. And then she walks into his bedroom and Adam is jerking off vigorously. And she's like, what the fuck are you doing?
She's like, I'm did you think I had left? He's like, no, I knew you were here.
And then she's like, well, I'm going to go now. He's like, no, stay.
Yeah.
And she's like, why should I stay? And he goes, I don't know, maybe you should stay for the story. And I was like, yes, Adam.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I got to say, like, the writing is
That was a good
like,
line.
It's great. Like, I mean,
That was a good line. You know,
Like,
this is a pretty...
it's a
People trash Lena Dunham. This is a pretty good show.
Yeah, it's like
I came into this
here's what I'll say.
expecting not to like this.
Yeah, this is what I'll say. The subject matter is which can be troubling at times. Like, we got like sexual harassment stuff. We got like this guy just jerking it when she comes out of the bathroom crying.
Some Louis C.K. shit.
Yeah, so we got all of that stuff happening, and I could see people being like, oh, I just don't like the subject matter with it. But the craft of the writing is actually great.
Yeah, that,
like
when he volleyed back that maybe you should just stay for the story. That was such a good fuck you line.
I love a good callback too.
Oh yeah, it was great, dude.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. And then another huge twist. She's like, why should I stay? Why would I stay? And then he's like, do you think I'm pathetic or something?
Yeah.
Do you think it's sad? And she's like, no, I mean, it's fine. Everybody does it. And he looks at her, he's like, you think I'm pathetic?
Yeah, as if telling her, like, say these things.
Yeah, then she takes the hint and she's like, yeah, it is pretty pathetic that you're jerking off in front of me. There's a woman right here. Why would you be jerking off? And he's like, I don't know. Isn't it weird that I'm like jerking off my big dick? And she's like, it's not even that big.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? And then she just starts insulting him.
Like he at this point he's like likes the abuse dominatrix thing, because this is, I forget what episode we had when he was making her pretend like she was a junky kid off the street. Like, so his even the first episode that they have trashed. Was it Dirty Talk? And
that was like
no, I think it was second episode. Yeah, so now we know they have that weird dynamic, which she seems like she doesn't like to do, but then gets into
today.
It. Yeah,
she didn't get it, and then she was just like kind of taking her anger of the day out on him, being like, "You're fucking pathetic," and he's like, "Okay, yeah," and she's like, "And you're gonna give me." Oh, and then she tries to pull up her dress. He's like, put your shit down.
Yeah. Yeah, she tries to like join in, and he's like, no.
Yeah, this isn't about you. This is about me.
Yeah.
And then she's like, you are pathetic, and you're going to give me cab money.
Yeah.
And he's like, how much? And she's like, $20. You know what? No, 30, because I want pizza and gum. It was like weird.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, my money's in the dresser over there.
Yeah.
And then she walks over to the dresser and she's like, wow, you're pathetic. She's still insulting him. And she's like, you only have hundreds in here. And then that's when you see him like, fuck.
Yeah.
And she goes, I'm taking one of these. And he's like, oh no.
Yeah.
And she's like, she puts it in her bra. And I forget what
she started saying, say I'm sorry. Say I'm sorry. And he kept saying, I'm sorry at the end.
Yeah.
And that's what like gets him to like finally.
Yeah, and she's like, say it like you mean it. And he's like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's
so
just like
bizarre.
so awkward. And then afterwards, it just seems like I couldn't tell from the reaction on her face whether or not she enjoyed.
Yeah, well, it was something else that made him a tiff, just like walking through. So if they hear anything, that's what that is. But I feel like it was something else that made him come. Like she went like an extra step because after he said I'm sorry 4 times or something, and then I don't.
Yeah,
I wish I remember what it was.
Yeah, I don't remember. I was like, I'm sorry, and then she says something else to him, and then he then he says, "I'm sorry," and comes. But like,
Yeah.
I don't remember what triggered it, or if not.
Yeah, but by the end of that,
Yeah.
she was kind of like, okay, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, but then
I
her
got
face also.
$100.
Yeah, but then her face also had like, I don't know if I like doing this either. I don't know. I couldn't tell. I couldn't get exactly what the feeling that she
Yeah,
was
couldn't
had
get a
on her.
read on it.
Yeah. But she managed to extort someone for some money, kind of.
Yeah.
She got $100 out of the day.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
She's only
she can get all
$900
the
away
pizza.
from that $1,000 she wanted.
She can get all the pizza and gum she wants now, you know?
And all of this is all intercut with the scenes with Marnie and Charlie. So we're seeing this weird sad sex scene with
What was like, Hannah was abusing Adam verbally, and
which he wanted.
Charlie was kind of like extorting Marnie into saying that she loves him.
Yeah.
So it was this weird like gun to the head thing,
Yeah.
like say that you love me with him, and then Hannah's whole thing was different. But that's basically the episode.
Yeah,
everybody.
man, it's a good one. Like, I just love that like Adam can still like out crazy her. Like when you're like, man, Hannah,
it's
what are you
weird
doing? But
that
like, yeah,
Adam can out crazy her and out sane her in
at
the same scene.
scene,
Like it's
yeah.
just like, how is this guy?
Like at
Who
this
is
point, I'm
this
like,
guy?
well, I mean, she knows what Adam is at this point. He's never had his weirdness for like his like sexual, like not weirdness, but his sexual like preference for like being abused and dominatrix and fantasy play. Like he's never like been hiding that. They weren't dating for like 2 years. Then he all of a sudden like, oh yeah, go to bondage clubs. You know, it's never been one of those things. But
Adam's
like,
a freak,
Adam's a freak, and she
he lets that freak flag fly.
So she's gone from her gay boyfriend, who I don't know what that love sex life was like, into this guy now, which is just crazy, you know.
Yeah, I'm with
So
you.
she
man.
hasn't had a medium.
I feel like she
sexual
hasn't had
encounter.
a healthy relationship yet.
And what was it? So she tried to have sex with her boss, so that almost happened. Didn't she try to have sex with someone else? Was it the gay boyfriend when he came back in town, and she thought she might sleep with him? Or was there
No, she
another
was trying
guy?
to confront him about the STD. Remember,
Yes.
she has HPV.
Yeah.
She was not trying to have sex with
Yeah.
him.
So was there anyone else in these 5 episodes that she's tried to have sex
no.
with? It's just been Adam.
Adam and the boss.
Okay.
Final thoughts on this episode?
It's a good one. It's a lot to unpack. A lot of like it went in a different way than I thought. I was happy it wasn't Hannah and Marnie just hashing it out like you're a bad friend. Why would you write this? Blah blah. Which you could see happening. Instead, they're like, oh, we'll just knock this out in the beginning, and it'll be about the whole theme would be about like women using their sexuality and how they use it, and if they can, and like the relationships that they're having with these men that they're all with.
Yeah, I thought this was a good one too.
It was a
I
good
thought-
episode, yeah.
I thought it was really solid. There's a lot of shit going on. I wish there was more Shoshana.
Yeah, but I don't think there was
As
a way
always,
to squeeze.
wish there was less Jessa.
There was no way to squeeze in an episode of this theme with
This was
Shoshana.
this was a banging episode.
So I'm still curious about what Shoshana ends up, how her story ends up this season. And but yeah, no, Hannah. I find Hannah's character interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I find all of their, except for Jessa, I find all of their stuff relatable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've never been sexually harassed in the workplace, so I can't understand that. Like, but it makes me sick. Like watching that.
Yeah, you don't have to be like homeless or starving to empathize with someone that's like to be like, oh, I think being hungry would suck, and not having a house would suck. Like you can empathize, but you will never be able to fully relate 100%. You know.
But I get Marnie's struggle in this episode because like the whole thing, it just seems like, I've been in relationships kind of like that, and I get Charlie's struggle. Like I get that dynamic. It's just weird.
Yeah.
And
I had a roommate who had situations like that where they'd be on and off with this relationship where you knew, all the friends knew this wasn't working, but like they couldn't separate themselves from each other.
Yeah. So I thought that was a good one.
Well done.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear the title for this next episode. This is my favorite part of the podcast sometimes.
Well, episode number 6, title The Return. Dun, dun,
wow,
dun.
that's a tease for the next one.
The Return for next week's episode. And that's going to be it for this episode of Boys Watching Girls. I'm Joe Welke.
I'm Vance.
And see you next time.